Taman's boots made soft thuds against the metal floor as he walked down the corridor. His shift had lasted 12 hours and every muscle in his body ached. The atmospheric processors on Station Kelvin 9 always needed fixing. Something always broke. That was life on a colony station at the edge of explored space. He turned the corner toward his quarters and stopped. A woman stood in front of his door. She was not human. Her skin glowed with a soft blue light, and patterns on her arms pulsed gently like a heartbeat. She was Valthine. Taman had seen a few Valthine on the station before, but he had never spoken to one. Two small children held her hands. They looked up at him with large, dark eyes. A third child, slightly older, stood behind the woman and gripped her leg. All three children had the same blue skin and glowing patterns. Taman cleared his throat. "Can I help you?" The woman looked at him directly. Her eyes were amber, like honey in sunlight. "You are Taman. You work with machines." "You live alone, it was not a question." Taman felt uncomfortable. "Yes, that's me. Do we know each other?" "No," she said. "But I know about you. I watched you." "For 3 weeks I watched you." Taman took a step back. This was getting strange. "Okay, that's... Why were you watching me?" The woman's glowing patterns changed color. They turned from blue to a pale green. Taman did not know what that meant. "I need your help," she said. "My name is Lyra. These are my children. Hana, Suri, and Bora." The oldest child, Hana, looked at him but said nothing. The two smaller ones, the twins, pressed closer to their mother. "What kind of help?" Taman asked carefully. Lyra took a breath. "My husband died 3 months ago. There was an accident in the mines. He did not come home." Her voice was steady, but her patterns flickered. "In my culture, a widow without a male protector has no rights. The community takes everything. Our home, our belongings, everything." Taman felt a twist in his stomach. "That's terrible. I'm sorry for your loss. I have 1 week," Lyra continued. "In 1 week, they will take my children from me. They will place them with another family. I will be sent away. We will be separated. Isn't there someone in your community who can help?" Taman asked. "A relative? A friend?" Lyra's patterns turned dark blue, almost purple. "They offered me a choice. I can bond with Theron. He is a male from my clan. He has 3 wives already. He does not want me. He wants my husband's mining rights. My children would be not important to him." Taman did not know what to say. He stood there, his hand on his door panel, trying to understand what this woman wanted from him. "I studied humans," Lyra said. "Your people bond differently. You choose your partners. You do not follow the old laws like my people do. Some humans on this station have bonded with other species. I saw the records." "That's true," Taman said slowly. "But I still don't understand what you want from me." Lyra looked him in the eyes. "I will warm your bed, human. I will share your home. I will cook your food and keep your quarters clean. I will give you companionship. In return, you must become the legal guardian of my children. You must sign the papers. You must protect us." Taman's mouth fell open. He could not believe what he was hearing. "You want me to... You're asking me to..." "I am asking you to save my children," Lyra said. Her voice was firm, but Taman saw her hands shake. "I am not asking for love. I am not asking for your heart. I am asking for survival. You are a good man. I watched you help old Mr. Pack with his breathing machine. I saw you fix the water system in the lower sector when no one asked you to. You are kind. You are alone. This can benefit us both." Taman ran his hand through his hair. This was insane. A complete stranger was standing at his door asking him to become a husband and father overnight. "This is crazy. You don't know me. I don't know you. This is not how things work." "It is how things must work," Lyra said. "I have no other choice. I went to the human authorities. They said they cannot interfere with Valthine cultural law. I went to the station administrator. He said I must find a solution within legal bounds. This is legal. Across-species bonding is legal." The little girl Hana suddenly spoke. "Please, sir, we have nowhere to go." Her voice was small and scared. Taman looked at the child. She could not have been older than 8 or 9 in human years. Her eyes were red like she had been crying. The twins looked up at him too. They were so small, so scared. "I need time to think," Taman said. "This is too much. You're asking me to change my entire life." "I know," Lyra said, "but I have no time. They will come in 7 days." Taman closed his eyes. He thought about his small apartment. 1 bedroom, 1 bathroom, a tiny kitchen, barely enough space for himself, let alone 4 other people. He thought about his quiet life, his simple routine: work, eat, sleep, repeat. But he also thought about his parents. They had died when the climate collapsed on Earth. They had asked for help. No one came. Taemin was 14 when he became an orphan. He remembered what it felt like to be alone and scared. He opened his eyes and looked at Lyra. "Tonight only," he said. "You can stay here tonight. All of you. I'll sleep on the couch. Tomorrow we'll figure something out. I'm not promising anything more than that." Lyra's patterns flared bright gold. "Thank you," she whispered. Taemin pressed his hand to the door panel. The door slid open. His apartment was a mess. Clothes on the floor. Dishes in the sink. He had not expected guests. "Sorry about the mess," he muttered. Lyra walked inside, her children following close behind. They looked around the small space with wide eyes. Taemin realized they probably did not have much experience with human living spaces. "The bedroom is through there," Taemin said, pointing. "You and the kids can sleep there. I'll take the couch." "You are very kind," Lyra said. Taemin did not feel kind. He felt confused and overwhelmed. He watched as Lyra guided her children into his bedroom. The twins held hands. Anna carried a small bag, probably everything they owned. Taemin sat down on his couch and put his head in his hands. What had he just agreed to? This woman was a stranger. Her children were strangers. And yet they were in his home now, depending on him. He heard soft voices from the bedroom. Lyra was singing to her children. The melody was strange and beautiful. It made Taemin's chest feel tight. Tomorrow he would figure this out. Tomorrow he would find a real solution. But tonight at least they would be safe and warm. That was something. That was enough for now. Taemin lay back on the couch and stared at the ceiling. His quiet life was over. He did not know what came next, but he knew nothing would ever be the same again. Taemin woke up with a stiff neck. The couch was not made for sleeping. Morning light came through the window. The artificial kind the station used to simulate day and night. He heard sounds from the kitchen. Someone was moving around. He sat up and saw Lyra at his small stove. She was trying to work his coffee maker, her glowing patterns pulsing with confusion. She pressed buttons randomly. "Here, let me help," Taemin said, getting up. His back hurt. Lyra jumped, startled. "I am sorry. I wanted to make you breakfast. I do not understand your machines." "It's okay," Taemin said. He showed her how to use the coffee maker. "Where are the kids?" "Still sleeping," Lyra said. "They were very tired. We have not slept well in many weeks." Taemin nodded. He made coffee for both of them. They sat at his tiny table in awkward silence. Taemin did not know what to say. Lyra stared at her coffee cup like it was a puzzle. "You have to drink it," Taemin said. Lyra took a small sip and immediately made a face. "This is very bitter." "Yeah, coffee is like that. Some people like it. Some don't." Taemin took a long drink. He needed the caffeine. "We need to talk about your situation." "Yes," Lyra said. She put down the cup. "What do you want to know?" "Everything," Taemin said. "I need to understand Valthian culture. I need to understand what I'm getting into if I help you." For the next hour, Lyra explained. She told him about Valthian society. Her people evolved from pack animals. They valued group survival above individual wants. Males were protectors. Females were nurturers. It was simple and old-fashioned, but it was their way. When a male dies, the female becomes vulnerable, Lyra explained. The community sees her as a weakness. She might make bad decisions because of grief. She might waste resources, so the law says she must join another family or leave. "That's cruel," Taemin said. "It is survival," Lyra said. "My ancestors lived on a dangerous world. This system kept the group strong. But times have changed. We live in space now. We trade with other species. Some of us think the old ways are not needed anymore. But the elders do not agree." Taemin rubbed his face. "And if I become your guardian?" "What does that mean?" "You would have legal rights over my children. In Valthian law and in station law, you would be their father. I would be your bonded partner. We would be a family unit." "But we're strangers," Taemin said. "Many Valthian bonds start between strangers," Lyra said. "Matches are arranged. Couples learn to live together. Sometimes love grows. Sometimes it does not. But the family unit is what matters." Taemin thought about this. It was so different from how humans did things. Humans dated. They fell in love. They chose each other. This felt backward. The bedroom door opened. Hana came out, rubbing her eyes. She saw Taemin and quickly looked down. "Good morning," she said quietly. "Good morning," Taemin said. "Are you hungry?" Hana nodded but did not move. "I can make breakfast," Taemin said.
Do you like eggs?
"I do not know," Hana said. "We eat different food." Right, of course. Taemin had no idea what Valthene people ate. He looked at Lyra. "We can eat some human food," Lyra said. "Our biology is similar. But we need supplements. Certain minerals." "Okay," Taemin said. "We'll figure it out." He made a simple breakfast. Scrambled eggs, toast, and some fruit. Hana ate slowly, testing each bite. The twins woke up and joined them. They were shy and did not talk. They sat close to their mother. After breakfast, Taemin had to go to work. "I have a shift," he said. "You can stay here. Don't open the door for anyone." "I'll be back this evening." "Thank you," Lyra said. At work, Taemin could not focus. His mind kept going back to the woman and children in his apartment. His supervisor, Daewon, noticed. "You look terrible," Daewon said. "Did you sleep at all?" "Not really," Taemin admitted. "What's going on?" Daewon asked. Taemin explained the situation. Daewon's eyes went wide. "Are you serious? A Valthene widow just showed up at your door?" "Yeah," Taemin said. "And you let her in?" "She has kids." "They have nowhere to go." Daewon shook his head. "Taemin, you have a good heart. But this is complicated. Cross-species bonding requires paperwork, lots of it. And the Valthene community might not accept it. You could be making things worse for her. What should I do?" Taemin asked. "Talk to the station administrator," Daewon said. "Get legal advice. Don't make any promises until you know what you're doing." Taemin took the advice. During his lunch break, he went to the administration office. The administrator, a tired-looking man named Hyun-soo, listened to his story. "This happens more than you'd think," Hyun-soo said. "Cultural conflicts. People caught between old laws and new realities. If you want to help this woman, you can. But you need to understand the commitment." "What kind of commitment?" Taemin asked. "Full guardianship. You'd be legally responsible for those children. For their health, education, everything. If the mother dies or leaves, they're still yours. And the Valthene community will judge you. Some will accept it. Some will make trouble." Taemin felt sick. "What if I say no?" Hyun-soo sighed. "Then she'll probably have to accept the match her community offers. Or leave the station. Without resources, that's basically a death sentence." Taemin left the office feeling worse than before. He finished his shift in a daze. When he got home, he found his apartment transformed. It was clean. Very clean. The dishes were done. The floor was scrubbed. Even his laundry was folded. Lyra was teaching the twins a game with colored stones. Hana was drawing on a data pad. They all looked up when he entered. "Welcome home," Lyra said. Those two words hit Taemin hard. Welcome home. No one had said that to him in years. Not since his parents died. "Thank you for cleaning," he said. "It is the least I can do," Lyra said. That night they ate dinner together. Taemin ordered food from the station cafeteria that was safe for Valthene. They sat at his small table, all five of them squeezed together. It was cramped and awkward, but it was also warm. Nice even. After dinner, Taemin taught Hana a simple card game. She was smart and learned quickly. The twins watched and laughed when Hana won. Lyra smiled. Her patterns glowed soft gold. Later, after the children went to bed, Taemin and Lyra talked again. They sat on the couch, a respectful distance apart. "I spoke to the station administrator," Taemin said. "This is a big decision. It will change everything." "I know," Lyra said, "and I know it is unfair to ask this of you. But I have no other choice. What if we try it for a while?" Taemin said. "Like a trial period. 6 months. I'll sign the guardianship papers. You and the kids stay here. We live together and see how it goes. If it doesn't work, we figure out something else." Lyra's patterns flared bright. "You would do this?" "I'm not promising forever," Taemin said. "But I can promise 6 months. That gives us time to find a real solution, and it keeps your kids safe." Lyra's eyes filled with tears. Taemin did not know Valthene could cry. The tears glowed faintly blue. "Thank you," she whispered. "You are saving our lives." Taemin was not sure he was doing the right thing, but he knew he could not turn them away. He thought of his parents again. He thought of the boy he used to be, alone and scared, He could not let these children feel that way. "We'll make it work," he said, hoping it was true. The first week was chaos. Taemin's small apartment felt even smaller with 5 people inside. The bathroom schedule became a complex negotiation. The twins argued about everything. Hana stayed quiet and watchful. Lyra tried too hard to be helpful and kept breaking Taemin's things by accident. She did not understand human appliances. She put metal in the microwave and caused a small fire. She used dish soap in the laundry machine and created a foam explosion. She tried to cook Valthine food with human spices and made something that smelled like burning plastic. "I am sorry," Lyra said after each disaster. Her patterns turned dark with embarrassment. "It's okay," Taemin kept saying. "We're all learning." But inside, he wondered if he had made a terrible mistake. The breakthrough came on the 8th day. Lyra attempted to make dinner again. She wanted to cook something special, a traditional Valthine dish, but she did not have the right ingredients. She tried to substitute human foods. The result was a purple stew that looked completely wrong. Taemin came home and saw the pot on the stove. Lyra stood in front of it, her shoulders slumped. The children sat at the table looking worried. "I cannot do this," Lyra said. "I cannot even feed my children properly." Taemin looked at the pot. Then he looked at Lyra. Then he did something unexpected. He laughed. Lyra stared at him. "Why are you laughing?" "Because this is ridiculous," Taemin said. "Look at us. We're trying to force 2 completely different cultures into one tiny apartment. It's not going to work if we keep doing things the old way. We need to do things our way. A new way." He grabbed his datapad and pulled up recipes. "Let's learn together. Human food, Valthine food, everything. We'll teach each other. You show me your culture. I'll show you mine. And we'll make something that works for all of us." Lyra's patterns shifted to pale green. "You mean this?" "Yes," Taemin said. "We're a team now. Teams work together." That night they ordered takeout from 3 different station restaurants. Human, Valthine, and even some Kryn food just to try it. They spread everything on the table and everyone picked what they wanted. The twins loved human noodles. Hana liked Kryn bread. Taemin discovered that Valthine fruit was actually delicious. They laughed. For the first time, they really laughed together. The tension broke. The apartment did not feel quite so small anymore. After that, things got easier. Taemin taught Hana how to read standard language better. She was a fast learner. She liked stories about space exploration. She told Taemin she wanted to be a ship pilot someday. "That's a good dream," Taemin said. "My father wanted me to be a caretaker," Hana said quietly. "He said females should stay home." "Well, your father is not here," Taemin said gently. "And I think you can be whatever you want to be. If you want to fly ships, then you should fly ships." Hana looked at him with wide eyes. "Really?" "Really," Taemin said. "In human culture, anyone can do anything. It's about what you're good at, not what you are." Hana smiled. It was small, but it was real. The twins, Suri and Bora, started following Taemin everywhere. When he went to work, they begged to come along. Taemin talked to his supervisor. "They're just kids," Taemin said. "They want to see what I do," Daewon sighed. "Fine, but they wear safety gear. And they stay close." So the twins came to work with Taemin. They watched him fix machines. They asked a million questions. "Why does this wire go here? What does that button do? How do you know what's broken?" Taemin answered every question. He showed them tools. He let them help with simple tasks. They were fascinated by everything. "You're good with them," Daewon said one day. "They're good kids," Taemin replied. Lyra found work at the station's hydroponic gardens. The Valthine had a natural talent for growing things. Their bioluminescent patterns could help plants grow faster. The garden supervisor was thrilled to have her. Lyra came home that first day excited. "They will pay me," she said. "I can contribute. I am not just taking from you." "I never thought you were just taking," Taemin said. "But I did," Lyra said. "I felt like a burden. Now I can help. We can save money. Maybe get a bigger place." They started eating dinner together every night. It became a routine. Everyone shared something from their day. Hana talked about her lessons. The twins demonstrated new things they learned. Lyra shared garden stories. Taemin talked about broken machines. It felt normal. It felt like family. But then Bora got sick. It happened suddenly. One night she was fine. The next morning she woke up with a fever. Her patterns flickered weakly. She could not stand. Lyra's fear was immediate and intense. "Valthine children can die from fever," she said. her voice shaking. Their temperature regulation is not fully developed. If it gets too high, Damon did not wait. He picked up Bora and ran to the medical center. Lyra ran beside him, holding Bora's hand. Suri and Hana followed, crying. The doctor was human but had experience with Valthine. She hooked Bora up to monitors. Her core temperature is dangerously high. We need to cool her down slowly. Too fast and we could shock her system. For hours they waited. Taman sat beside Lyra, who held Bora's small hand. Hana and Suri curled up on chairs, exhausted from crying. The medical center was cold and smelled like antiseptic. "Tell me about your husband," Taman said quietly. He did not know why he asked. He just felt like Lyra needed to talk. Lyra was quiet for a moment. Then she began to speak. His name was Revan. He was strong and kind. He loved to sing. Every night he sang to the children. Her voice cracked. He was working deep in the mines. There was a collapse. They said he did not suffer, but I think they just said that to make me feel better. "I'm sorry," Taman said. "I loved him," Lyra said. "I love him still. But he is gone. And I must go on. For them." She looked at her children. "I wish he could see them now. See how brave they are." "Tell me about your parents," Lyra said. "You mentioned they died." Taman had not talked about his parents in years, but sitting there in the cold medical room, he found himself speaking. Earth was dying. The climate collapsed. People were desperate. My parents tried to get us on a colony ship, but the ships were full. Only the rich could buy tickets. He took a breath. There were food riots. My parents went to get supplies. They never came back. "I was 14. You were alone," Lyra said. "Yeah," Taman said. "I survived. Eventually I got off Earth, worked terrible jobs, saved money, ended up here. We are both survivors," Lyra said softly. "Yeah," Taman said. "I guess we are." They sat in silence, their hands almost touching on the edge of Bora's bed. The doctor came back hours later. "Her fever broke. She's going to be okay, but she needs rest. Keep her home for a few days." Relief flooded through Taman. Lyra's patterns flared bright gold. She leaned forward and hugged her daughter gently. Bora opened her eyes and smiled weakly. They took Bora home. Taman carried her because she was still too weak to walk. Lyra held her other children close. When they got home, Taman put Bora in his bed. "You should sleep with her tonight," Taman said to Lyra. "She needs you close." "Where will you sleep?" Lyra asked. "The couch is fine," Taman said. But that night Taman woke up to find Lyra sitting on the couch beside him. She was not touching him, just sitting there in the dark. "Is Bora okay?" Taman asked. "She is sleeping," Lyra said. "Hana is watching her." "Then why are you out here?" Lyra was quiet for a long moment. "I wanted to thank you. You did not have to run with us to the medical center. You did not have to stay all night. But you did. You acted like a father, like a real father." "They're my responsibility now," Taman said. "No," Lyra said. "They are more than that to you. I can see it. You care about them, not because of our agreement, but because you choose to." Taman did not know what to say. She was right. Somewhere over the past few weeks, those 3 children had become more than just obligations. They had become his kids. "Thank you," Lyra said again. Then she did something unexpected. She reached out and took his hand. Her skin was warm. Her patterns glowed softly in the darkness. They sat there together, not speaking, just being close. And for the first time since this strange arrangement began, Taman felt like maybe, just maybe, this could really work. 3 months passed. The apartment that once felt impossibly small now felt like home. Taman requested bigger quarters from the station administration, and they were approved. The new place had 2 bedrooms, a real kitchen, and enough space for everyone to breathe. The children helped move their few belongings. Suri and Bora ran through the empty rooms, their voices echoing. Hana picked a corner by the window for her study space. Lyra walked through each room slowly, touching the walls like she could not believe it was real. "This is ours?" she asked. "This is ours," Taman confirmed. The children started calling him Taipapa. It was a word they invented, mixing human and Valthine languages. At first, Taman felt strange hearing it, but after a while he liked it. It felt right. Hana was excelling in her studies. She joined a mixed-species learning group at the station school. She made friends with human and Valthine children. She told Taman everything she learned each day. Her dream of becoming a pilot grew stronger. Suri developed a passion for machines just like Taimin. She could spend hours watching him work. She learned to identify tools by name. She asked if she could become an engineer someday. Of course, Taimin told her. You can be anything you want. Bora was different. She loved the gardens where Lyra worked. She learned the names of plants in 3 languages. She talked about genetics and how to make plants grow in harsh environments. She was only 5 years old but spoke like a scientist. Lyra bloomed too. Her work at the gardens gave her confidence. She made friends with other workers. She laughed more. Her patterns glowed brighter. And sometimes Taimin caught her looking at him in a way that made his heart beat faster. But trouble was coming. They just did not know it yet. It started when a Valthine elder arrived at the station. His name was Corthan. He was old, his patterns faded to pale blue with age. He wore traditional robes and carried himself with authority. He came to inspect the Valthine community on the station. Corthan heard about Lyra's arrangement with Taimin. He was not pleased. I wish to meet this human, Corthan told the Valthine community leader. Taimin received a message requesting his presence at a community meeting. Lyra was terrified. Corthan is powerful, she said. He represents the traditional council. If he disapproves, he can challenge the guardianship. But we have legal documents, Taimin said. The station approved everything. Station law is not the same as Valthine law, Lyra said. And my people follow our own laws first. Taimin went to the meeting alone. Lyra stayed home with the children. The community center was full of Valthine people, all watching him with curious or hostile eyes. Corthan sat at the front, flanked by advisors. You are Taimin, Corthan said. It was not a question. I am, Taimin said, trying to keep his voice steady. You have taken a Valthine female and her children into your home. You claim guardianship. But you are not Valthine. You do not know our ways. Tell me, human, do you understand what it means to raise Valthine children? I understand they need safety, food, education, and love, Taimin said. Those things are universal. No, Corthan said sharply. They are not. Valthine children must learn pack dynamics. They must understand their place in the community. They must be taught the proper rituals and traditions. A human cannot provide this. A human can learn, Taimin said. I'm learning. The children are teaching me about their culture. Lyra is teaching me. We're figuring it out together. Unacceptable, Corthan said. Lyra had other options. She should have accepted the match with Theron. It was the proper solution. Theron wanted her husband's mining rights, not her family. Taimin said, his anger rising. She would have been nothing in that household. Her children would have been nothing. They would have been Valthine, Corthan said coldly. Now they are being raised by an outsider. This corrupts them. Already I hear the eldest child speaks of dreams that are not appropriate for a female. I hear the twins play with machines. This is your influence. You are erasing their culture. I'm not erasing anything, Taimin said. I'm giving them choices. They can honor their culture and still be whoever they want to be. That is human thinking, Corthan said. It does not apply to us. The meeting ended badly. Corthan said he would review the case. He implied he might challenge the guardianship in both Valthine and station courts. Taimin went home feeling defeated. Lyra saw his face and knew immediately. He's going to fight us, she said. Yeah, Taimin said. That night, they lay awake in their separate rooms, both worried about what came next. But there was another problem brewing. At work, things had become tense. Jiwoo, another engineer, had been friendly with Taimin for years. They ate lunch together sometimes. They talked about Earth, which they both missed. Jiwoo had never said anything directly, but Taimin suspected she had feelings for him. After Lyra and the children moved in, Jiwoo became cold. She stopped eating lunch with him. She barely spoke to him at work. When she did, her voice was sharp. One day, Taimin confronted her. Did I do something wrong? Jiwoo looked at him with hard eyes. You're living with that Valthine woman. Yes, Taimin said carefully. She needed help. Her children needed help. Is that all it is? Jiwoo asked. Just helping? Taimin did not know how to answer. Was it just helping? Or had it become something more? He thought about Lyra's laugh. He thought about how she looked in the morning, her patterns glowing softly. He thought about the way his heart jumped when she smiled at him. It's complicated, Taimin said finally. Of course it is. Jiwoo said bitterly. She walked away. The next week, a solar flare warning blasted through the station. Everyone had to take emergency positions. Taemin's job was to secure the external systems and make sure the radiation shields were working properly. He suited up and went outside. Space was beautiful and terrifying. The station floated against a backdrop of stars. Taemin could see the sun in the distance, a bright point of violent light. The shields were malfunctioning. Taemin worked quickly, rerouting power and replacing damaged components. Daewon's voice crackled in his helmet. Taemin, the flare is coming early. Get back inside. Almost done, Taemin said. Now, Taemin. That's an order. But if Taemin left now, the shields would fail. People would be exposed to dangerous radiation. He kept working. His hands moved fast, connecting wires, sealing panels. The flare hit. Even through his suit, Taemin felt the heat. Alarms screamed in his helmet. Pain exploded in his left arm. He had been too close to an unshielded panel. Taemin, Daewon was shouting. Get inside. Taemin stumbled back toward the airlock. His arm was burning. His vision was blurry. He fell through the airlock door and collapsed. He woke up in the medical center. His left arm was bandaged. A doctor stood over him. You're lucky, the doctor said. Radiation burn. Not as bad as it could have been. But you'll need treatment for a few weeks. Taemin tried to sit up. Pain shot through his arm. He groaned. The door burst open. Lyra ran in, her children right behind her. Her patterns were flaring bright red, a color Taemin had never seen before. Taemin. Lyra grabbed his good hand. They said you were hurt. They said you almost died. I'm okay, Taemin said. It's just a burn. But Lyra was crying. Her tears glowed blue in the dim medical room. You could have died. You could have left us. The doctor cleared her throat. I need to note something in the record. That red color in your patterns, ma'am. That's a mate bond response. You only display that for a bonded mate? Lyra froze. She looked at her own arms, at the bright red patterns. She looked at Taemin. He looked back at her. The doctor continued. I'll need to file this with the station records. It changes your legal status. You're not just cohabitating. According to Valthene biology, you're bonded. After the doctor left, Lyra sat beside Taemin's bed. The children had gone to the waiting room with Daewon. They were alone. I did not mean for that to happen, Lyra said quietly. What do you mean? Taemin asked. The bond mark. My patterns. They only turn red for a true mate. Not a convenience partner. Not an arrangement. A mate. She looked at him with frightened eyes. I did not mean to bond with you. Not really. This was supposed to be practical. Taemin's heart was pounding. What are you saying? I am saying I love you, Lyra whispered. Somewhere between cleaning your apartment and watching you teach my daughter to read and holding your hand in the dark, I fell in love with you. And I am terrified. Taemin reached out with his good arm and touched her face. I'm terrified too, he said. Because I love you back. They sat there looking at each other as the truth settled between them. This was no longer an arrangement. This was real. Taemin spent 3 days recovering in the medical center. His arm was healing, but slowly. The radiation burn required special treatment. Lyra visited every day, bringing the children. They drew pictures for him. They told him stories. They made the sterile medical room feel less lonely, but Korthan was not waiting. While Taemin was injured and vulnerable, the elder made his move. It happened on the 4th morning. Lyra had gone to work at the gardens. The children were in their apartment with Daewon watching them. Taemin was still in medical when he got the emergency call. This is station security, a voice said. We have a situation at residential section 12. Your family is involved. Taemin's blood went cold. He got out of bed despite the doctor's protests. He ran through the corridors, his injured arm screaming with pain. When he reached his apartment, he found station security blocking the door. Inside, he could hear Hana screaming. Let me through, Taemin demanded. Security officer Hyun-soo stopped him. Sir, you need to calm down. There's a custody dispute happening. That's my family in there, Taemin said. According to Valthene law, Elder Korthan has filed a challenge to your guardianship. He's attempting to take the children into community custody. Taemin pushed past Hyun-soo and burst into the apartment. He found Korthan standing in the middle of the room with 2 other Valthene males. Daewon was trying to block them from the children. Hana stood in front of her sisters, her patterns flickering with fear and rage. You cannot take us, Hana was shouting. Taipapa is our father. You have no right. I have every right, Corthan said calmly. Your mother is emotionally compromised. She has bonded with a human in her grief. This is not a real bond. It is confusion and desperation. The children must be protected from this mistake. I'm not a mistake, Taemin said, walking into the room. And this family is not a mistake. Corthan turned to look at him. You are injured. You cannot even protect yourself. How can you protect Valthine children? I got injured protecting everyone on this station, Taemin said. Including your people. I fixed the radiation shields. If I hadn't, dozens would have died. That's what humans do. We protect each other. Even strangers. Noble words, Corthan said. But words are not enough. These children need proper guidance. They need to learn Valthine ways. You cannot provide that. He provides love, Hana said suddenly. Her voice was shaking but strong. He provides safety. He reads me stories. He tells me I can be a pilot even though I am female. My real father never said that. My real father loved me, but he wanted me to be small. Te Papa wants me to be big, to be everything I can be. Corthan looked at Hana with something like pity. Child, you do not understand. You have been corrupted by human ideas. I understand perfectly, Hana said. You want to take us away because we do not fit your old rules. But your rules did not save us. Te Papa did. The twins were crying, holding each other. Daewon looked at Taemin helplessly. Security stood in the doorway, unsure what to do. This will be decided properly, Corthan said. I have filed for a formal hearing. Both human and Valthine authorities will review this case. Until then, the children should be in neutral custody. No, Taemin said. They stay with me. You do not have the authority to decide that, Corthan said. Hyun-Soo stepped forward. Actually, station law says the children stay with their current guardian until the hearing. That's Taemin. You'll get your hearing, Elder, but you don't get the kids today. Corthan's patterns flickered with anger, but he nodded stiffly. Very well. 3 days from now. We will see what the authorities decide. He turned and left, his companions following. After they were gone, Taemin collapsed onto the couch. His arm was throbbing. Hana ran to him and threw her arms around him. The twins followed. They all held each other, crying with relief and fear. I'm sorry, Taemin said. I'm so sorry this is happening. It is not your fault, Hana said. You did not do anything wrong. But Taemin felt like he had. He had taken in a desperate woman and her children without thinking about all the consequences. Now those children might be torn away. He had failed them. When Lyra got home and heard what happened, her patterns went dark with despair. I should leave, she said. I should take the children and go. Find another station. Start over. No, Taemin said. We fight. We go to the hearing and we fight. We're a family. Families don't run. The next 3 days were tense. Taemin met with station lawyers. They explained that cross-species custody cases were rare and complicated. The hearing would involve both human and Valthine judges. Both sides would present their arguments. The problem is cultural relativism, the lawyer explained. Station law tries to respect different cultural practices. If Valthine law says widows must remarry within the community, it's hard for us to override that. But the children have rights too, Taemin said. Don't they get a say? They do, and that might be your strongest argument. If the children clearly want to stay with you, that matters. Especially Hana. She's old enough to testify. The day of the hearing arrived. The conference room was packed. Valthine community members filled one side. Station residents filled the other. At the front sat 3 judges, 1 human, 1 Valthine, and 1 Kryn serving as a neutral party. Corthan presented his case first. He spoke about tradition and cultural preservation. He argued that Valthine children needed Valthine guidance. He said Lyra had made a desperate decision in grief and should not be held to it. These children are being raised in a human household, Corthan said. They are losing their connection to their heritage. The eldest child speaks more standard than Valthine. The twins want to be engineers, which is not a traditional female path. This human is destroying their cultural identity. Then it was Taemin's turn. He stood up, his injured arm still in a sling. He looked at the judges. I'm not a perfect parent, Taemin said. I don't know all the Valthine traditions. I can't sing the old songs. I can't teach them pack dynamics. But I can teach them to be brave. I can teach them to think for themselves. I can teach them that love is more important than rules. He paused. Humanity lost Earth. We destroyed our own world through short-sightedness and greed. We're out here in space now trying to do better. We've learned that survival depends on adaptation, on working together, on choosing family, not just accepting the one we're born into. My parents died because people followed old rules about who deserved to be saved. Rich people got on the colony ships. Poor people like my family were left behind. I was 14 when I became an orphan. I know what it feels like to be alone and scared, and I promised myself that if I ever had the chance to help someone else, I would. That's what I'm doing. I'm helping. The Valthene judge spoke. But are you harming them in the process? By removing them from their cultural context? I'm not removing anything, Taman said. Lyra teaches them Valthene stories. They celebrate Valthene holidays. They eat Valthene food. But they also get to choose. They get to decide who they want to be. Isn't that what any parent should want? For their children to become the best version of themselves? Then the children testified. Hana went first. She stood before the judges, small but determined. I love my father who died, Hana said. I miss him every day. But Te-Papa loves me too. He does not try to replace my father. He tries to honor him. He asks me to tell stories about my father. He looks at my drawings. He makes sure I remember. Her voice grew stronger. Elder Corthan says I am losing my culture. But I know more about Valthene history now than I did before. Because Te-Papa asks questions. He makes me think about why we do things. He makes me proud of where I come from. And he also makes me excited about where I'm going. The twins spoke next. They were nervous, but they held hands and spoke together. Te-Papa teaches us about machines, Suri said. Mama teaches us about plants, Bora added. We learn both, Suri continued. We are both Valthene and human, Bora finished. Not by blood, Suri said, but by family, they said together. The room was silent. Even Corthan looked moved. Finally, Lyra stood. Her patterns were pure gold, the color of truth and honesty. When my husband died, I wanted to die too, Lyra said quietly. The only thing that kept me alive was my children. I needed to protect them. I needed to find a way to keep them safe. I came to Taman's door offering a transaction. Survival in exchange for companionship. I did not expect love. I did not expect family. I did not expect to find someone who would run through corridors with my sick child in his arms, who would risk radiation burns to protect the station, who would face down Valthene elders to keep us together. She looked at Taemin. My husband would have wanted his children to be safe and loved. They are both. This is not a perfect situation, but it is a good one, and sometimes good is enough. The judges deliberated for 2 hours. The room waited in tense silence. Taemin held Lyra's hand. The children sat close, their patterns dim with anxiety. Finally, the judges returned. The human judge spoke first. This is an unusual case. There are no clear precedents. Both sides have valid arguments. However, we must consider the best interests of the children above all else, and the children have made their wishes clear. The Valthene judge spoke next. I struggled with this decision. I value tradition. I believe in preserving our ways. But I also listened to young Hana. Her words made me think. Perhaps tradition must evolve. Perhaps there is a way to honor the past while building the future. The night after the hearing, the family returned to their apartment. They were exhausted but relieved. The children fell asleep almost immediately, curled together in their shared room. Taemin and Lyra sat on the couch in the quiet darkness. We won, Lyra said softly. Yeah, Taemin said. We did. But there was something unfinished between them, something that had been building for months. They had confessed their love in the medical center, but the hearing had interrupted everything. Now they had to face the question, what did they really want to be to each other? I need to tell you something, Lyra said. The bond mark I showed when you were injured, that was real. In Valthene biology, we do not control that response. It happens when we find our true mate. My body recognized you before my mind accepted it. What does that mean? Taemin asked. It means I am bonded to you for life, Lyra said. If you reject me, I will never bond with another. My patterns will fade. I will live, but not fully. This is how my people are made. Taemin felt the weight of that. That's a lot of pressure, I know, Lyra said, and I am sorry. I came to you asking for a transaction, but my heart had other plans. She looked at him, her eyes reflecting the soft glow of her patterns. If you do not love me back, I understand. I will stay for the children. We can be friends, partners in raising them. But nothing more. Taemin took her hand. Lyra, I do love you. I think I started loving you when you tried to make that terrible purple stew and laughed at yourself. Or maybe when you sang to Bora in the medical center. Or maybe it was when you told me about Revan and I realized you were the strongest person I'd ever met. Lyra's patterns flared bright. Then what do? We make it official, Taemin said. We do this right. Not as a convenience, not as a survival strategy, but as a real partnership. A real marriage. Marriage, Lyra repeated. That is a human concept. Do Valthene have something similar? Taemin asked. We have the bonding ceremony, Lyra said. 2 people pledge before the community. They link their patterns. It is sacred. Then we do both, Taemin said. A human wedding and a Valthene bonding. We honor both our cultures. We show everyone that this is real. Tears ran down Lyra's face, glowing softly blue. You would do that for me. I would do anything for you, Taemin said. You and the kids. You're my family now. I want everyone to know it. They planned the ceremony for 1 month later. It gave them time to prepare and time for Taemin's arm to fully heal. The station community was invited. Both humans and Valthene. Even some Kryn and other species wanted to attend. It would be the first cross-species bonding ceremony on Station Kelvin 9. Daewon helped Taemin prepare. You're really doing this, Daewon said, shaking his head with a smile. A few months ago you were a quiet guy who fixed machines and went home alone. Now you're getting married with 3 kids. Life moves fast, Taemin said. Are you nervous? Daewon asked. Terrified, Taemin admitted. What if I'm not a good enough husband? What if I fail as a father? You're already a good father, Daewon said. I've seen you with those kids. And Lyra looks at you like you hung the stars. You'll be fine. Jiwoo approached Taemin a week before the ceremony. She looked uncomfortable but determined. Can we talk? She asked. Of course, Taemin said. They went to the station's observation deck. The stars stretched out before them, infinite and cold. Jiwoo was quiet for a long time. I was jealous, Jiwoo finally said. When you took in Lyra and her children, I was angry. I thought we had something. Or we could have had something. But I was too scared to say anything. And then she showed up and changed everything. I'm sorry, Taemin said. I didn't know how you felt. I know, Jiwoo said. That's not your fault. I should have been honest. But I want you to know I'm happy for you. Really. You and Lyra are good together. Those kids are lucky to have you. I was wrong to be cold. I want to fix that. If you'll let me. Of course, Taemin said. I'd like that, Jiwoo smiled. Can I come to the ceremony? I'd be honored, Taemin said. The children were excited about the ceremony. Hana asked dozens of questions about human weddings. The twins wanted to wear special clothes. They spent days picking out outfits with Lyra. Do humans exchange gifts? Hana asked. Sometimes, Taemin said. Usually rings. Jewelry that symbolizes the bond. Valthene exchange crystal stones, Hana said. They represent the light of the bonded pair. We'll do both, Taemin said. Rings and stones. Hana was quiet for a moment. Papa, can I ask you something? Anything, Taemin said. After you and Mama bond, will you be our real father? Or still our guardian? Taemin knelt down to be at her eye level. Hana, I'm already your real father. Not because of paperwork, not because of ceremonies, but because I love you. Because I'll always protect you. Because when I think about my future, I see you in it. You and your sisters. That makes me your father. The ceremony just makes it official. Hana hugged him tightly. I love you, Papa. I love you too, Hana. The day of the ceremony arrived. The station's main hall was decorated with both human and Valthene symbols. Flowers from Lyra's garden filled the room with color and sweet scent. Soft music played, a fusion of human and Valthene melodies. Taemin stood at the front wearing a simple but elegant suit. Daewon stood beside him as his best man. The room was packed with people. Humans, Valthene, Kryn, and others, all there to witness. Then Lyra entered. She wore a traditional Valthene bonding gown that flowed like water. Her patterns glowed brilliant gold. The children walked beside her wearing their special outfits. They led their mother down the aisle. When Lyra reached Taemin, she was crying. Happy tears that glowed like starlight. Taemin took her hands and felt the warmth of her skin, the pulse of her patterns. The ceremony began with the human tradition. The station administrator, Hyunsu, officiated. We are gathered here to witness the union of 2 people who found each other in the most unexpected way, who built a family from nothing, who showed us all that love transcends species, culture, and circumstance. Taman spoke his vows. Lyra, when you came to my door, I was afraid. But you taught me to be brave. You taught me that family is not about blood. It's about choice. I choose you. Today, tomorrow, and every day after, I promise to honor your culture and your past, to love your children as my own, to be your partner in all things. Lyra spoke her vows in Valthine, then translated. Taman, I came to you asking for shelter. You gave me a home. I asked for protection. You gave me love. You saved my children. You saved me. I bond with you willingly, joyfully. My patterns will glow for you alone. My heart beats for you. Thank you for seeing me. Thank you for choosing us. They exchanged rings, simple bands that caught the light. Then they performed the Valthine bonding ritual. Lyra took a glowing crystal stone and pressed it to Taman's palm. He felt a warmth spread through his hand, up his arm, into his chest. Valthine bonding stones connected partners on a biological level. Non-Valthine could not glow in return, but they could feel the bond. Taman pressed his own stone to Lyra's palm. Her patterns flared so bright the room lit up like daylight. Everyone gasped. The connection was complete. I now pronounce you bonded partners, Hyunsu said. You may seal your bond. Taman and Lyra kissed. It was soft and sweet and full of promise. The room erupted in applause. The children rushed forward to hug them both. The celebration lasted hours. There was food from a dozen cultures, dancing to mixed music, speeches from friends. Even Corthan attended, standing at the back. He did not smile, but he nodded in acknowledgement. It was something. Late in the evening, Taman and Lyra stood on the observation deck with the children. They looked out at the stars together, a family complete. What happens now? Suri asked. Now we live, Taman said. We work, we learn, we grow, together. Will we stay on this station forever? Bora asked. Maybe, Lyra said. Or maybe we'll go somewhere else someday. The future is open. I want to fly ships, Hannah said, looking at the stars with longing. Then you will, Taman said, and we'll cheer you on. That night, for the first time, Taman and Lyra shared a bedroom not out of obligation or arrangement, but by choice. They lay in the darkness, their hands clasped. Are you happy? Taman asked. More than I ever thought possible, Lyra said. I came to your door offering warmth. You gave me everything. You gave me everything too, Taman said. Purpose, family, love. I was just existing before. Now I'm living. They fell asleep together, the glow of Lyra's patterns casting soft light in the room. Outside, the station hummed with life. Inside, a family rested, secure in their bond. The makeshift family had become real. The desperate arrangement had become genuine love. And two broken people had made each other whole. 6 months after the bonding ceremony, life had settled into a comfortable rhythm. Taman still worked with the atmospheric systems. Lyra still tended the gardens. The children thrived in school. To anyone watching, they looked like any other family on the station, but they were more than that. They had become a symbol. News of their story spread through the colony network. Other stations heard about the human who married a Valthine widow, about the cross-species bonding that survived legal challenges, about children who were learning to be both Valthine and human. Messages arrived from across the sector. Some were kind. You give us hope, wrote a human woman who had fallen in love with a Kryn man. If you can make it work, maybe we can too. Others were cruel. You are corrupting Valthine culture, wrote a traditionalist from the homeworld. You are an abomination. Taman and Lyra tried not to read the negative messages, but they were hard to ignore. The attention was uncomfortable. They had not meant to start anything. They had just been trying to survive, to build a family, to love each other, but their actions had consequences, whether they wanted them or not. 2 months after the bonding, a Valthine woman named Sarah came to their door. She was young, maybe 20 in human years. She was crying. Please, Sarah said. I heard about you. I need help. Lyra invited her inside. Sarah told her story. She had fallen in love with a human engineer on another station. They wanted to bond. But Sarah's family was traditional. They refused to accept it. They threatened to disown her. I do not know what to do, Sarah said. I love him, but I cannot lose my family. Lyra took Sarah's hands. I understand. I lost my first husband. Then I had to choose between my community's approval and my children's safety. It was the hardest choice I ever made. But you chose, Sarah said. You were brave. I was desperate, Lyra corrected gently. Bravery came later. When I realized that the family I built was worth fighting for. What should I do? Sarah asked. That is your decision, Lyra said. I cannot tell you what to choose. But I can tell you that love is rare. Real love, the kind that makes your patterns glow without trying, is precious. If you have found that, do not let fear steal it from you. Sarah left that night with hope in her eyes. 3 weeks later, she sent a message. She had bonded with her human partner. Her family was angry, but they had not disowned her. It was a start. More people came after Sarah. A human man who wanted to adopt Valthene orphans, a Kryn woman who loved a human female, a mixed-species couple who needed advice on raising children. Taemin and Lyra's home became an unexpected refuge, a place where people could ask questions and find support. We are not counselors, Taemin said one night after a particularly long visit. We are just trying to figure things out ourselves. But we are proof it can work, Lyra said. That matters to people. At the Valthene Community Center, things were changing too. Younger Valthene started questioning the old traditions. They saw Hana excelling in pilot training classes. They saw Suri building complex machines. They saw Bora winning awards for botanical research. And they wondered, what could their own children become if given the same freedom? Corthan watched all of this with mixed feelings. He had opposed the bonding. He had tried to separate the family, but he had also witnessed something he could not deny. The children were happy, they were successful, and they still honored their Valthene heritage. One day, Corthan came to Taemin's home. It was not a formal visit. He simply knocked on the door and waited. Taemin opened the door, surprised. Elder Corthan, please come in. Corthan entered slowly, looking around the apartment. He saw Valthene art on the walls alongside human pictures. He saw Valthene and human books on the shelves. He saw a home that honored both cultures. I came to apologize, Corthan said stiffly. Taemin nearly fell over. What? I opposed your bonding with Lyra. I tried to take the children. I believed you would destroy their connection to their people. Corthan paused. I was wrong. Elder, Lyra said, emerging from the kitchen. You do not need to apologize. Yes, I do, Corthan said. I have watched your family for months. I have watched Hana teach other Valthene children about human culture with respect and grace. I have watched the twins bridge the gap between our communities. I have watched you, Lyra, honor your late husband's memory while building a new life. And I have watched you, Taemin, love these children as if they were born from your own body. The old Valthene's patterns flickered with emotion. I realize something. Tradition exists to protect us, but if tradition prevents us from growing, from adapting, from loving, then it becomes a prison. You showed me that, you and your unusual family. What are you saying? Taemin asked. I am saying I want to be part of this, Corthan said, not as an opponent. As a teacher, I want to help the children learn Valthene traditions. Real traditions, not just the rigid rules I tried to enforce. The stories, the songs, the history. Let me share that with them. Lyra's eyes filled with tears. You would do that? I would be honored, Corthan said, if you will allow me. From that day forward, Corthan visited once a week. He taught the children about their ancestors. He taught them traditional dances and songs. He taught them the philosophy behind Valthene culture, not just the rules, and he learned from them too. He learned that tradition could evolve, that culture could grow. But the family's biggest test came unexpectedly. A disease outbreak hit the station. It started small, just a few people with fever and cough, but it spread quickly. Within days, dozens were sick. Within a week, over 100 people were in the medical center. The disease affected both humans and Valthene. Scientists scrambled to find a cure, but they were baffled. The virus seemed to mutate rapidly. Every treatment they tried failed. People started dying. First the old, then the weak, then even the young and healthy. The station went into quarantine. Fear spread faster than the disease. Taemin was called to help modify the station's air filtration systems. He worked 18-hour shifts trying to contain the spread. Lyra worked in the gardens trying to find plants that might have medicinal properties. They barely saw each other. The children stayed home, scared and alone. Daewon checked on them when he could, but he was helping with the crisis too. One night, Taemin came home exhausted. He found Lyra in the kitchen, surrounded by plant samples and medical data. She looked as tired as he felt. Any progress? He asked. Maybe, Lyra said. There is a Valthene plant called Moonvine. It has antiviral properties, but it does not grow in our current garden environment. It needs specific conditions. What kind of conditions? Taman asked. Cold, high humidity. Very specific light wavelengths, Lyra said. We do not have a setup like that. Taman thought for a moment. But I could build one. If I modify one of the storage units, redirect some atmospheric controls, it would take most of the equipment from 3 different sections. That would compromise other systems, Lyra said. Yeah, Taman said, but what choice do we have? People are dying. They work together. Taman used his engineering knowledge to create the perfect environment. Lyra used her botanical expertise to grow the moonvine at an accelerated rate. They barely slept. They barely ate. But in 5 days they had results. The moonvine produced a compound that, when combined with human antibiotics, stopped the virus. The medical team synthesized a treatment. Within a week, people started recovering. Within 2 weeks, the crisis was over. The station administrator called Taman and Lyra to his office. Hyunsu looked at them with gratitude. You saved hundreds of lives, maybe thousands if this had spread to other stations. We just did what needed to be done, Taman said. No, Hyunsu said. You did something more. You showed what happens when different species work together, when different knowledge combines. A human alone could not have solved this. A Valthene alone could not have solved this. But together, you did what neither could do separately. The story spread even further. The human engineer and Valthene botanist who saved a station, their marriage was no longer just a curiosity. It was proof. Proof that cross-species partnerships had value, that mixing cultures made everyone stronger. Research stations requested their data. Medical facilities wanted to learn about Valthene plants. Engineering schools wanted to study Taman's modified atmospheric systems. Their small family had created ripples that touched the entire sector. One evening, Taman and Lyra stood on the observation deck with their children. It had become their special place, where they looked at the stars and talked about dreams. A new transport ship was docking. They watched it slowly approach the station. New colonists, new families, new stories. Do you think there are people on that ship who need help? Hana asked. She was 12 now, taller and more confident. People like us who do not fit the old rules? Probably, Lyra said. There are always people who do not fit. Should we help them? Suri asked. She was wearing her engineering jacket covered in tool pockets. If we can, Taman said. Will we have room? Bor asked. She was holding a data pad full of plant genetics research. Taman and Lyra looked at each other and smiled. Their apartment was already full. Their lives were already complicated. But somehow there was always room for one more person who needed help. One more family trying to survive in a universe that did not always make sense. We will make room, Lyra said.